Russia is a land of vast steppes, dense forests, rugged mountains, and frozen tundra, a land that stretches endlessly in every direction. In this land, there are regions so remote and untouched that they remain almost entirely unexplored. Spanning 11 time zones and covering more than 6 million square miles, Russia's wilderness holds secrets that have eluded discovery for millennia. Within this immense expanse, the ground conceals remnants of ancient civilizations and massive prehistoric megastructures that challenge our understanding of the past. In these remote corners of the Earth, where human footprints are few and far between, these prehistoric relics, often overshadowed by the sheer immensity of the Russian landscape, whisper of an age long forgotten, a time when unknown hands shaped the land in ways that still baffle archaeologists and historians alike. What ancient forces or lost civilizations left their mark on this remote corner of the world? In the secluded depths of the Shoria Mountains in southern Siberia, a secret has lain hidden, undisturbed for thousands of years. It was in this remote wilderness, far from the prying eyes of civilization, that a discovery was made, one that would challenge the very bedrock of our understanding of human history. It was in 2013 when a team of 19 researchers led by Georgy Sidorov embarked on an expedition to explore the area located on Gornaya Shoria, a mountain rising 3,600 feet above sea level. Situated in a secluded region of Russia, this area was once inaccessible, guarded by checkpoints during the Soviet era. The expedition was initiated based on intriguing reports from the area about the presence of numerous unusual megalithic objects in this remote location. Upon arriving at the specified location, the research team was shocked at what they stumbled upon. It appeared as a gigantic super-megalith, so mysterious that it defied the chronicles of human history. The Gornaya Shoria megaliths, as they came to be known, consisted of immense stone blocks, appearing to be granite, characterized by flat surfaces and right angles. What was even more shocking was the estimated weight of the stones, which was more than 3,000 tons. This would make the Gornaya Shoria megaliths the largest megalithic stones ever discovered in human history. The systematic arrangement of the granite rocks hinted at intentional design, a purposeful architectural effort that went beyond mere natural formation. They were meticulously stacked one atop the other, reaching a height of approximately 140 feet. The sheer size and scale of these stones immediately posed a baffling question. How were such enormous blocks carved, transported, and assembled in such a remote and challenging landscape? According to Sidorov's notes, the structures were around 100,000 years old, a timeline that pushed back the boundaries of known human architectural endeavors by tens of thousands of years. This revelation was not just surprising, it was revolutionary. It suggested the presence of a civilization with advanced knowledge and capabilities long before what was traditionally accepted in the annals of human history. Georgy Sidorov and his team were astonished by the colossal size of the structure. The magnitude of the discovery of a monument like this was incredible, one that had remained hidden for eons, a silent witness to the passage of time and possibly to the rise and fall of an unknown civilization. The insights and observations written by Sidorov would prove crucial in unraveling the mysteries of this enigmatic site. The sight of the huge granite blocks, meticulously stacked in a wall of polygonal masonry, suggested a level of architectural sophistication that was previously unimagined in that era. Sidorov noted the construction's resemblance to other ancient megalithic structures such as Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids, yet unique in its own right. The comparison was not just in terms of the sheer size, but also in the mystery of the purpose and functionality of the site. The dimensions of the structure as recorded by Sidorov were staggering. The wall, as he referred to it, was around 700 feet in length. The individual stones were each about 65 feet in length and between 16 and 23 feet in height. These figures were not just numbers. They represented a monumental human effort, a feat that seemed nearly impossible given the presumed technological limitations of the time. Sidorov and his team considered various theories regarding the origin of the structure. One prevailing hypothesis was that it was the product of an ancient civilization, one that possessed technology and knowledge far beyond what was previously thought possible. This theory raised numerous questions about the capabilities of ancient peoples and the potential existence of a sophisticated civilization that had somehow been lost to history. Adding to the enigma, Sidorov reported that there were circular holes on some of the stones, seemingly perfect in roundness. Even more astonishing were the indications of melting observed on the stones. It appeared as though in certain areas the stones had been melted, hollowed out, or reshaped. Sidorov attributed these meltings to some sort of ancient rock fusion that was implemented on the wall. He also wrote of the possibility of a powerful thermonuclear explosion or a similar destructive force, as there were many megalithic rocks that were scattered around the site, seemingly blown away by a powerful force. All of this raised even more questions about the purpose of the structure and the fate of its builders. The complexity of the site was further highlighted by Sidorov's description of additional structures in the vicinity. He spoke of a strange cyclopean construction of vertically set boulders standing on a giant foundation. Moreover, Sidorov recounted how during their expedition they encountered unexplainable phenomena. The compasses of the entire group behaved erratically, deviating inexplicably from the megaliths. This phenomenon led to speculation about a negative geomagnetic field in the area, possibly a residual effect of some sort of ancient energy field. This phenomenon of geomagnetic anomalies is not unique only to Gornaya Shoria, as it has been observed at other ancient sites around the world. It often leads to discussions about the advanced understanding of the Earth's magnetic fields by ancient civilizations and their ability to manipulate or utilize these forces in ways that are not yet understood by modern science. Unfortunately, the worsening weather conditions limited the ability of Sidorov and his expedition to explore further, yet the data collected provided invaluable insights into the layout and scale of the ruins. As the team departed, the sense of mystery only deepened. The immense size and unexplained origins of the Gornaya Shoria megaliths represented a puzzle that was far from being solved. Yet, the question arises, if these structures were indeed built by humans and not a natural formation, then how could an advanced civilization thrive in such an inhospitable location, a place known for its harsh climate and extremely severe winters? What would motivate them to settle in such a challenging environment? Wouldn't it have been simpler for them to migrate southward to warmer territories and establish their settlements there? During the peak of the last ice age, around 20,000 years ago, Siberia, along with much of the northern hemisphere, experienced a profound climatic shift. Despite the colder climate and the spread of ice sheets, however, the conditions in Siberia were relatively more favorable than those in Europe and North America. In contrast to the extensive glaciation that enveloped North America and Northern Europe, Siberia was not completely covered by ice sheets. The region was predominantly characterized by the Mammoth Steppe, an expansive biome marked by cold, dry conditions, yet abundant in grasses and herbaceous plants. This unique ecosystem supported a diverse array of megafauna, such as woolly mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, and other large herbivores, as well as the predators that hunted them. This rich environment provided ample resources for the support of human populations, offering both food and materials essential for survival. In fact, archaeological discoveries such as tools and artifacts have already proven that there were human populations living in Siberia during the Ice Age. The most fascinating of these discoveries was when Russian scientists uncovered a site corresponding to the last ice age where ancient hunters lived. The site was filled with stone tools, ivory weapons, and the butchered bones of mammoths, bisons, bears, lions, and hares, all animals that would have been available to hunters during that ice age period. Using a dating technique that measures the ratios of carbon, the researchers determined the artifacts were deposited at the site about 30,000 years before the present. That would be about twice as old as Monteverde in Chile, the most ancient human life known in the American continents. Donald Grayson, a paleoanthropologist at the University of Washington in Seattle, said the discovery is very significant because it is so much earlier than any other proven evidence of people living in the frigid lands of Siberia. In contrast, much of northern Europe was engulfed by thick ice sheets, making vast areas uninhabitable. The ice severely limited human mobility and resource availability. Human settlements in Europe were primarily concentrated in the southern regions, which, though free of ice, still endured a cold climate. These areas served as a refuge for humans and animals, but the resources available were scant compared to the abundant mammoth steppe of Siberia. In this context, if the Siberian megaliths were indeed erected during the Ice Age, it suggests that their builders were part of a society that not only adapted to, but also prospered in the cold climate. The relative wealth of resources in the Mammoth Steppe would have supported larger human populations, enabling them to engage in significant construction projects. The discovery of the Gornaya Shoria megaliths has also reignited interest in alternative historical theories. Some researchers have speculated about the existence of a pre-flood civilization, a sophisticated society that existed before a cataclysmic event wiped out much of humanity's early history. This theory aligns with global myths and legends, which often speak of advanced civilizations that vanished under mysterious circumstances. Intriguingly, the site of Gornaya Shoria, despite its potential historical and archaeological significance, has not been the subject of any follow-up research and archaeological efforts. This lack of continued investigation into such a potentially revealing site raises several questions and adds a layer of mystery to the already enigmatic stones. The official stance of the Russian Federation regarding these megalithic structures is that they are merely natural formations. Yet without a comprehensive and thorough archaeological examination, how can we be sure that the massive and unusually structured stones are purely the product of natural geological processes? Numerous observers are skeptical that the stones are a product of nature, citing their precise angles and impeccable arrangement as evidence. They point out that the site is very similar to other megalithic sites around the world that were undoubtedly man-made. The possibility that these megaliths are remnants of a lost civilization or a forgotten chapter in human history cannot be entirely dismissed without a thorough investigation. What could a proper excavation reveal about the origins and purpose of these stones? Could they possibly be linked to ancient human activity, or are they indeed just an unusual but natural geological formation? Moreover, the broader implications of such a discovery, if it were proven to be made by humans, are significant. It could potentially rewrite parts of our history, offering new insights into the capabilities and spread of ancient civilizations. It could challenge our understanding of the technological and architectural skills of our ancestors and provide a new perspective on the ancient world. Do you believe the site is a natural formation or the product of a long-lost advanced ancient civilization? Tell us your theories in the comments below. The remote and rugged region in the North Caucasus, in the Kabardino-Balkaria Republic of the Russian Federation, is a place of towering mountains and untamed wilderness. Yet, in 2011, Arthur Zhemukov, who is a Russian speleologist, which is the scientific study and exploration of caves, made an astonishing discovery at the Khara Khora mountain peak, one which would completely shatter our understanding of ancient human history. There, he found a deep, narrow, vertical shaft, seemingly swallowed by the earth itself. It was made of parallel stone slabs that seemed perfectly geometrical, as if they were artificially made. Zhemukov and his team decided to venture deeper, and what they discovered within the shaft was nothing short of extraordinary. The walls were straight and polished, extending 40 meters or 130 feet deep into the mountain, before opening into a wide underground hall with a height of 36 meters, about 118 feet. The straight walls of this shaft were constructed from large megalithic blocks that fitted together at right angles with minimal gaps. There were even large stones that looked like columns. Overall, the explored dimensions of the shaft, from the upper part all the way to the lower platform, span more than 100 meters, around 350 feet. Artur Zhemukov and his team were completely stunned. They concluded that whatever this prehistoric structure was, it was undoubtedly an artificial construction of an enormous scale. They found perfectly straight and polished narrow walls that go 40 meters deep into the mountain. Arthur Zhemukov noted that the polished walls made of megalithic blocks were very similar to those found at the shafts of the Egyptian pyramids, precisely the Grand Gallery at the Pyramid of Khufu, the blocks of which are approximately the same size. And like the advanced ancient structures of Egypt, this ancient gallery also most likely served some kind of advanced technological function and was probably part of a larger structure. It took more than an hour for the expedition to even reach the bottom of the structure, which requires extensive climbing experience and endurance. And it's believed that there are additional chambers and channels that go much deeper underground, which are still undiscovered. Due to the colossal size of the underground shaft, only a small part of it is explored. The climbers advanced 100 meters deeper, and they ran into narrow passages in which they couldn't enter. The team concluded that this structure, whatever it was indeed man-made, as there were no analogs anywhere among other cave systems in the world, especially caves possessing polished flat parallel walls, rectangular blocks with straight edges, the presence of what seemed like a solution between the perfect fittings of the blocks and the absence of oblique cracks characteristic of tuff. But how is this possible? How could gigantic 200-ton perfectly flat stone blocks be assembled with such precision into such a narrow shaft deep underground? What kind of technology was used for the construction of the Khara Khora shaft? Additional expeditions inside the shaft were made by Vadim Chernobrov, head of the Kosmopoisk, which is an organization that researches different anomalies in Russia. Vadim and his team, together with Arthur Zhemukov, climbed inside the shaft and filmed the experience for a documentary featured on Russian TV. Chernobrov even mapped the discovered parts of the shaft, carefully measuring the dimensions and scale of the site. Here is a photo of the map made by Chernobrov. As you can see, this does not look like any other known cave anywhere in the world. And here we can see a 3D demonstration of the shaft from the channel of Vladislav's Guska, where the site is placed next to a Soviet space rocket. It certainly looks more like an artificial structure rather than a natural cave. Moreover, who knows how deep it actually goes and what else is hiding underground? But if this is an advanced prehistoric man-made construction, what was its purpose? There were various theories. According to Vadim Chernobrov, this was a man-made structure which was not intended for human habitation due to the narrow passages, where even a child cannot squeeze through, together with the numerous tiny holes where a human hand can hardly fit. He noted that each such mini cavity goes far into the depths where even the lights from the flashlights do not reach the bottom. This led him to believe that this structure had a technological purpose. He noted that the mysterious cavities inside the Egyptian pyramids, which he visited numerous times, were also not intended for the movement of people and served some kind of technological purpose, just like the Khara Khora shaft. The sophisticated shafts we find in Egypt also lead deep underground, and they often lead to chambers with unknown purposes. No one knows what they were used for, but they're clearly not meant to be traversed by humans, as there are no ladders, stairs, or any other method to climb inside them. There are no burn marks on the walls from torchlights, meaning there wasn't any visibility inside, and there aren't any hieroglyphs, artifacts, or anything else that can indicate human presence or a cultural and religious purpose. It seemed the intent of these systems was purely practical, yet unknown to us. Vadim Chernobrov could only speculate, saying it could have been some kind of plant, a part of an advanced ancient factory or some kind of resonator. He said it could be a device for seismological research or even an ancient energy generator. Other researchers brought different theories, believing this was the underground part of a long-lost pyramid that once stood on the surface of the mountain, which is now long gone. Climbers who went inside believed the place served some sort of ventilation purpose, as they noted that there was a constant flow of air circulating and coming from beneath. Despite all the different theories, everyone who climbed inside the cave agreed that this structure, whatever it was certainly artificially created. But if this really was part of an advanced underground complex built by a prehistoric civilization, how is it possible that no one had ever heard anything about such civilization in the region? Well, the thing is, there were certain people who knew about the underground structure, many decades before Arthur Zhemukov actually discovered it. In fact, Arthur Zhemukov didn't discover the shaft by pure luck or accident. He had been searching for it for many years. Zhemukov was studying the documents and traces left by the Nazi Germans during World War II. Hitler, along with several other high-ranking Nazi officials, was deeply influenced by the occult. These beliefs were intertwined with the ideology of the Thule Society, an esoteric group that sought to explore and revive ancient Aryan traditions. Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS, was particularly obsessed with these ideas and established the Ahnenerbe, an institute dedicated to researching the ancestral heritage and occult practices of the Aryan race. The Ahnenerbe, officially known as the Research and Teaching Society for Ancestral Heritage, conducted numerous expeditions to various parts of the world, including Tibet, in search of a mythical underground city known as Shambhala. This search was driven by the belief that Shambhala held mystical powers and advanced ancient technology that could be harnessed to further Nazi ambitions. Additionally, they sought to find connections with the Aryan race, hoping to legitimize their racial theories and propaganda. In 1938 to 1939, an expedition led by SS officer Ernst Schaefer was sent to Tibet under the guise of scientific research. While the primary stated goals were anthropological and botanical studies, there was a covert mission to investigate the myths of Shambhala and uncover any potential ancient knowledge or artifacts that could aid the Nazi cause. In the summer of 1942, the German military launched Operation Edelweiss, a major offensive aimed at capturing the oil-rich regions of the Caucasus, particularly the Baku oil fields in Azerbaijan. Securing these resources was crucial for the German war effort, as oil was essential for fueling the Wehrmacht's operations. The offensive was part of a broader strategy to deprive the Soviet Union of its vital resources and to gain a strategic foothold in the region. Beyond the immediate military objectives, the Nazis harbored ideological interests in the Caucasus. The Nazi occult organizations and members of the Ahnenerbe believed that the region could hold clues to the origins of the Aryan race. They speculated that ancient Aryan civilizations have once thrived in the Caucasus, leaving behind traces of their advanced knowledge and culture, including vast underground cities. It appears that the Germans were very close to discovering the Khara Khora underground shaft, as in very close proximity to the entrance of the shaft, on top of the mountain, there was a swastika carved on a boulder by the Germans. Perhaps the swastika was left as an identification mark by the Nazi researchers who knew they were very close to discovering the underground city of the Aryans. What's even stranger was that a more ancient swastika carving was also found in the region, one which has nothing to do with the Germans. Could this swastika have been left by the advanced ancient civilization that constructed the Khara Khora shaft? Were the Nazis emulating these people with their swastika and ideology? This was how Arthur Zemikow finally discovered the underground complex, not with his knowledge as a speleologist, but with his research into the occult and ancient texts and legends from the region. In fact, he learned that in the North Caucasus, numerous ancient legends about vast underground cities and caves have been passed from generation to generation. Arthur Zemikow believed that his discovery of the Khara Khora shaft was just the beginning, and that there were numerous more remarkable structures and underground cities and complexes hidden in the depths of the mountain. Strangely, just before launching further expeditions in search of these ancient sites, a mysterious tragedy ceased the research. In 2015, Arthur Zemikow was hit by a car, having reported on some important find the day before. But that's not all. Viktor Chernobrov, the founder and leader of the Kosmopoisk organization, who was accompanied by Zemikow in his own expedition to the Khara Khora shaft, also died just 2 years later of cancer. There were also 3 more people associated with the research who also died mysteriously. We can't say if all of these tragedies are just a coincidence or something much more. As of today, there is hardly any information on the Khara Khora shaft or any other expeditions or discoveries in the Caucasus region. The only thing we found were two albums from 2017 and 2018 by a man named Alexander Sploshnov, who ventured into the region and even climbed inside the Khara Khora shaft. The photographs he made of the Khara Khora shaft are remarkable and showcase the geometrically precise shaft with polished walls and massive megalithic blocks. But that's not all that captured Sploshnov's attention. He made numerous photos of interesting things he found in the region around the entrance of the Khara Khora shaft. Here is a photo of the famous swastika left by the Nazi Germans who were researching the area. And here, he photographed an interesting stone, which looks like it has machine marks on it. On this photo, Sploshnov captured a stone formation that is almost entirely buried in soil and vegetation, yet looks like it could be part of a man-made structure long forgotten. It looks like the stone features precise cuts and flat surfaces that were artificially modified. And on this section of Khara Khora, it looks like there are massive stone blocks stacked together, with everything below them being buried in the ground. Once again, we can see precise cuts with right angles and flat walls. Take a look at the strange forms of the stone that are still visible. Does this look like a natural formation or an artificially modified stone, part of another megalithic structure? It appears the entire area of Khara Khora is filled with stone blocks that look like they were precisely cut with some sort of machine and probably used for large construction endeavors. Just compare the perfectly flat and polished surface of the block below with the naturally eroded rock above. Could this have been an ancient quarry used by the same prehistoric civilization that built the Khara Khora shaft? Here we can clearly see precise machine marks on the surface of the rock, which were probably left after the extraction of the stone blocks. And look at the precision showcased in this photo, where the rocks are joined perfectly together with almost no gap and exhibit these fascinating shapes. We haven't seen any natural formation that look anything like this. Alexander Sploshnov photographed his entire journey entering the Khara Khora shaft, from the site's entrance to his descent down, and all the way to the lowest sectors of the shaft. The photos are of remarkable quality and can be used for further research. The albums, with all of the incredible photos captured by Alexander Sploshnov, were uploaded to his page at vk.com, which is a Russian Facebook alternative. We'll leave a link to the albums in the description below if you wish to examine them in more detail. The discovery of the Khara Khora shaft in the North Caucasus by Arthur Zhemukov in 2011 has raised profound questions about the ancient human history and the technological capabilities lost in time. The intrigue surrounding the site continues to captivate those who ponder the abilities and knowledge of ancient civilizations. Some believe this is the ultimate proof of a technologically advanced prehistoric civilization, while others believe it is a natural formation. Like we already explained, many of the most active researchers of the site have died, and no news about it has been heard in recent years. The true origin and purpose of the Khara Khora shaft continues to remain a mystery. If one day it is proven to be the product of an advanced ancient civilization, the structure would be one of the largest megalithic sites on Earth. The Vottovaara Mountain, situated in the Republic of Karelia of Russia, is a place revered for its powerful energy and worshipped as a sacred site for thousands of years by ancient Saami tribes and shamans, who are the ancestors of modern Finns, as this region was once part of Finland. As one ascends Vottovaara, an array of abnormal phenomena begins to manifest in the trees. Remarkably, there are no living trees on the summit that are more than a few decades old. Although many young pines and firs initially grow in a typical manner, they soon begin to exhibit strange characteristics. After a few years, the trees undergo transformations that defy conventional scientific explanations. The trunks and branches of trees on Vottovaara rotate around their axis due to some unexplained abnormal force. In some cases, the upper side branches start growing not upwards but towards the ground, creating an eerie, downward growth pattern. Additionally, there are practically no animals and birds there, and the lakes are uninhabited. Perhaps this is why locals call it the Death Mountain. But that's not all. The site has numerous strange megalithic structures and ruins, which many believe could not have occurred naturally. For example, there are approximately 1,600 sacred stones called sides, which are arranged here in a mysterious order. Seeds or saitas are objects or sites revered by the Sami people as representing nature or earth spirits. The side stones or boulders are often of unusual shapes and are placed in strange ways balanced on small rocks. Scientists say this occurred naturally by luck during the Ice Age. However, considering there are 1,600 stones in the area, all balanced perfectly on tiny little rocks, the natural luck hypothesis becomes invalidated. After all, what are the odds for so many giant stone boulders to situate themselves perfectly like that? The large stones had to be placed gently on top of the smaller ones to prevent them from breaking them. But if someone placed them like that, how did they do it? What kind of methods did they use to lift, transport, and gently place and balance such giant boulders? But it's not just the sides. This structure is called the well. Locals believe this is an artificially constructed ancient megalithic site used for the storage of water. The blocks of the structure look like they were perfectly cut to have precise rectangular forms. The thousands of years of erosion, of course, caused them to crack and deform, but nevertheless, the symmetry and precision of the structure are still clearly seen. No one even knows how deep this well goes, as it's always filled with water and no proper scientific research has been done at this site. Although it hasn't been proven that this water tank was artificially constructed, we know for sure prehistoric civilizations were able to build such structures, as there's a nearly identical tank in Bulgaria, carved into the rock sanctuary of Prehistoric. The tank, measuring 40 feet long, 20 feet wide, and 20 feet deep, has a capacity of 432,000 liters. It has an extremely complex system of incredibly accurate grooves in the rock which still work flawlessly in collecting and distributing water. The city of Prehistoric has been inhabited since around 5000 BCE, while a nearby shrine dedicated to Orpheus near the village of Tatul dates back to 6000 BCE. Is it possible that the water tank at the Vottovaara mountain was built by the same unknown civilization that built the water tank in Prehistoric, Bulgaria? Take a look at the interlockings of the stone blocks, which fitted perfectly thousands of years ago before they were displaced. There are many more strange megalithic artifacts on the complex, like these stone spheres, for example, which are perfectly smooth and oval and are often placed on podiums. As you probably know, similar stone spheres have been found in Bosnia, near the Bosnian Pyramid, as well as in Costa Rica, where there is an assortment of over 300 such petrospheres. Their real purpose is still unknown. This giant structure is believed to be the remains of an ancient stairs that were part of a larger building. Of course, scientists dismiss it and say it's just a natural formation. And this appears like a prehistoric wall made of large squared stone blocks. As you can see, there's what appears to be a knob on one of the upper stone blocks. The block cuts look very smooth and probably fitted perfectly thousands of years ago. There are many more stone ruins that look too artificial for a natural formation. Take a look for yourself and you be the judge. But that's not all. Archaeologists have uncovered many fascinating rock carvings in the region. On the eastern bank of Lake Onega, the second largest lake in Europe, archaeologists discovered about 1,200 rock drawings, estimated to be from 5,000 to 6,000 years old. Known as the Onega petroglyphs, these astonishing rock carvings were deliberately made to display stunning special light effects, just like a prehistoric cinema. The site selection is intriguing as the artist chose granite rocks that rise vertically from the lake waters. At sunset, the designs on the cliffs become more distinct in the sunlight, indicating that the artist selected this location for its light effects, despite the inherent risks. Before sunset, the designs were barely visible and indistinguishable from below. However, as the sun approached the horizon, the granite turned dark red, and the different colored lines of the patterns became very clear. The uniqueness of owning petroglyphs lies in the imagery they contain. Predominantly featuring water birds, especially swans, these images are unlike those found in the rock art of the Eurasian region. The most popular depiction is that of this human-like creature with a rectangular body and a large square head. This 2.5-meter-long figure is carved into a rock that Neolithic people likely viewed as the entrance to the netherworld. A 7-pointed Orthodox cross, thought to be made by monks from the Ruhr monastery in the 16th century, is etched over the image, as later Christian people believed the carving represented the devil. In fact, the entire Vottovaara region, with all of the megalithic structures, ruins, and carvings, has long been considered an evil place by Christian believers. Hence, much of the structures and art were deliberately destroyed. Nevertheless, there are many people who appreciate the strong energy of the place and regularly visit it to meditate and connect with the ancient spirits believed to inhabit the area. Tell us what you think about the Vottovaara mountain, also known as the Death Mountain. Do you believe there's some kind of unknown energy causing the strange deformation of all of the twisted trees? And do you think all of these stone ruins are the remains of a prehistoric civilization that built a massive complex in this area, or it's just a natural formation? On the Black Sea coast of the Krasnodar Krai region of Russia, there's a remarkable prehistoric monument, the construction of which cannot be explained to this day. This monument is known as the Volkonsky dolman. Dolmans are ancient megalithic structures, typically composed of large stone slabs, and their purpose is still debated. The Volkonsky dolman, however, stands out from the typical dolmens found around the world. Unlike most dolmens, which are constructed from multiple stones, the Volkonsky dolman was carved from a single giant boulder. This method of construction demonstrates remarkable skill and precision, suggesting that the builders possessed advanced stone-working techniques for their time and possibly the use of some kind of machinery. At the entrance of the dolmen, we can see the remarkably smooth surfaces and straight lines forming a rectangular cut. Achieving such precision with primitive tools would be nearly impossible. As you can see, the wall is perfectly polished. On the Russian website dopatopa.com, we found an article on the Volkonsky dolmen, which includes close-up photos revealing that there are small inclusions of oxidized iron on the front wall of the dolmen. And if we look closer, we can see an interesting pattern on the surface. What caused these intrusions is still unknown. The Volkonsky dolmen is generally believed to date back at least to the early Bronze Age, around 3000 to 2000 BCE. However, the remarkable construction techniques and precision exhibited by the structure have led some to speculate that it could be much older than currently estimated. Given the advanced nature of the dolmen, it raises intriguing questions about who could have built such a structure. What kind of advanced civilization possessed the knowledge and tools necessary to carve a massive boulder with such precision? How can such precision be achieved with primitive Bronze Age tools? The entrance hole of the dolmen is perfectly circular, which is difficult to achieve without advanced drilling equipment. If we go inside the dolmen, we are met by a large interior chamber that is designed perfectly symmetrical, with smooth walls and a uniform shape. The ceiling height of the inner chamber is about 1.5 meters, or approximately 60 inches. This height allows for a spacious interior, considering the overall size and construction constraints of the dolmen. The precision in maintaining this height throughout the chamber further exemplifies the advanced techniques used by the builders. The walls of the chamber are uniformly smooth and exhibit acoustic properties as they capture and enhance the vibrations of sound. The exact weight of the Volkonsky dolmen is difficult to determine without precise measurements, but it is estimated to weigh around 40 tons. The massive size and weight of the dolmen add to the mystery of how ancient builders were able to carve, transport, and place such a colossal stone with the precision and skill evident in its construction. Things got even more mysterious when you look at the drill marks around the dolmen. There, we can see numerous unfinished stone blocks covered with tube drill holes. If you've watched our documentaries before, these remarkable drill holes probably look familiar to you. That's because similar holes can be found all across the world. In Egypt, particularly around the Giza Plateau, there are numerous instances of precise drill holes in stone, including drill holes in granite, which is one of the hardest materials on Earth. The exact same drill holes can be found all across the Americas in the megalithic structures in Peru, like those inside the Khara Khora temple. They can be seen in Pumapunku in Bolivia, and even in European megaliths like those in Italy. All of these holes, much like those near the Volkonsky dolmen, exhibit a high degree of accuracy and uniformity. The similarities raise questions about whether these ancient megalithic structures were all built by the same builders belonging to a now-lost unknown civilization possessing advanced technology and machinery. But that's not all. Near the Volkonsky dolmen, there's an ancient water channel that's clearly artificially made. The water comes from an unknown underground source and contains hydrogen sulfide. The presence of this compound in the water hints at the geological and chemical processes occurring deep underground. Historically, hydrogen sulfide-rich waters have been sought after for their perceived therapeutic properties. Such waters are often found in natural spas and are believed to offer health benefits. This could imply that the area around the Volkonsky dolman was considered a place of healing and rejuvenation by ancient peoples, although the true purpose of the structure could be much more sophisticated. Mainstream scientists claim that all dolmens around the world are simply tombs, although not much evidence supports this theory. There are other theories, though. This study, authored by scientists from the Superbrain Research Group organization in Italy, revealed some incredible data that shows how the dolmens around the world exhibit remarkable properties. The dolman studied in this paper was shown to generate significant subsurface vibrations in the 7 to 12 Hz frequency range, with an average of 8 Hz. These low-frequency sounds, which are inaudible to the human ear, can entrain brain waves into a relaxed state, potentially inducing altered states of consciousness. The large stones of the dolmen act as transducers, effectively transmitting strong infrasonic vibrations from the ground to the air above and below the capstone. This capability is similar to other ancient sites, suggesting a purposeful selection of these locations for their natural vibratory properties. Similar infrasonic vibrations were found at other ancient sites, such as the dolmen in Parque Megalítico dos Cordeiros in Portugal, which also acts as a transducer of subsurface vibrations. This reinforces the idea that ancient builders were aware of and utilized these natural phenomena. What's even more remarkable is that they revealed that the resonance vibrations from the dolmens generate electrical activity as detected by an EEG device. Additionally, radon gas radioactivity, originating from underground, is higher inside the dolmen compared to outside, though still below dangerous levels. In this picture, you can see the radioactivity measured in open space on the left, and the radioactivity measured inside the dolmen in Portugal, which is 3 times higher. And dolmens are found all over the world, each with their own unique characteristics and mysteries. Europe is home to some of the most famous dolmens, particularly in countries like France, Spain, and the United Kingdom. In France, the Carnac stones and numerous dolmen sites in Brittany showcase the impressive scale and variety of these structures. Dolmens are even found in the remote areas of Scandinavia, particularly in Denmark and Sweden. They are found all across to Ireland, which is renowned for its numerous dolmens, often referred to as portal tombs. The Pulnabrone dolmen in County Clare is one of the most iconic examples, with its massive capstone and dramatic setting on the Burren limestone pavement. Irish dolmens are steeped in myth and legend, adding to their allure and historical significance. In Asia, dolmens are prevalent in countries like South Korea and India. The Korean peninsula, especially in regions like Gyeongju and Jeollanam-do, has thousands of dolmens that date back to the first millennium BCE. In India, dolmens are found in the southern states of Kerala and Karnataka, where they are typically associated with ancient burial practices. In North Africa, particularly in countries like Morocco and Algeria, dolmens are also part of the rich archaeological landscape. The Middle East, with its extensive history of ancient civilizations, also features numerous dolmens. In Jordan, for instance, dolmens are scattered across the countryside, often located in remote and rugged terrain. While less common, dolmens can also be found in North America. The dolmens in the northeastern United States, for instance, are often smaller and simpler in design but still represent significant archaeological interest. These structures add to the global narrative of megalithic construction and the cultural connections between ancient peoples. Even in regions like the Pacific Islands, dolmans are part of the broader tradition of megalithic architecture. These structures, though not as extensively documented, stress the ingenuity and adaptability of ancient builders across diverse environments. But let's get back to the Caucasus region of Russia and its neighboring countries. What may surprise you is that the Volkonsky dolman we discussed is just one of thousands of dolmens scattered in the most inaccessible areas of the Caucasus. Although generally unknown to the rest of the world, these megaliths are equal to the great megaliths of Europe and Asia in terms of age and quality of architecture. Some believe that these dolmens are one of the oldest ones in the world, dating from 10,000 years to 25,000 years ago, while more conservative archaeologists date them at 4,000 to 6,000 years old. They are located in the foothills along the Black Sea coast at elevations of about 250, 400 meters above sea level, or around 800 to 1,300 feet. Here is a map showcasing the location of some of the dolmens found in the area. As you can see, this zone represents the largest concentration of dolmens in Europe. Approximately 3,000 of these megalithic structures are known in the northwestern Caucasus, with new discoveries continually being made, though many are also being lost to destruction. It is estimated that originally there were about 10,000 dolmens in the Caucasus region. In 2007, decipherment by Andis Cowlins based on the Caucasus dolmens map showcased how the dolmens are aligned with star constellations and the summer solstice. During the spring equinox at sunrise, the sun illuminated the dolmen facade through the stone gate corridor. All of this is not surprising, considering all ancient megalithic structures around the world are somehow connected with the movement of the stars. In fact, in the inner chamber of a buried dolmen discovered in the Caucasus, a mysterious artifact was found. It was an ancient stone disc with carvings on its surface barely visible today. The carving on the disc resembled astral symbolism. There was a crescent moon, stars, and sun. The other side of the disc was even harder to decipher, but what was clearly visible were numerous notches located at equal intervals along the perimeter of the disc. The Institute of History of Material Culture of Russia concluded that, considering one side of the disc showcases astral symbols and the other side has measurement lines, the artifact was most likely a prehistoric instrument for astronomical observations. This would completely shatter everything we thought we know about the ancient civilizations of this region, meaning they were far more sophisticated than previously thought. But could this mean that the dolmens themselves had advanced knowledge carved into their surface? Curiously, there are numerous carvings with unknown meanings, including images of portals, 4 convex hemispheres, vertical and horizontal zigzags, and more. Roofs sometimes feature patterns of sequentially arranged hollows and crosses in circles, and other patterns. The meaning of these drawings remains unexplained by archaeologists, although many theorize that they represent their knowledge in architecture, mathematics, biology, astronomy, and physics. In a remarkable book written by historian archaeologists Dmitry Dmitriev and Stanislava Fialkovskaya, titled Secret of the Caucasian Dolmens, we found some incredible information. There, they showed the picture of an artifact discovered in a dolmen known as the Moon Dolmen. It was a damaged triangular altar slab which had large circles with smaller circles inside, possibly depicting the moment of egg fertilization. The cycle starts from the first day of menstruation. A circle in the lower left corner has a diagonal line pointing to the 5th notch, indicating 5 days of menstruation. Then follows a non-fertile period, shown by 2 circles with leftward markers. A circle at the middle of the scale points to the 12th notch, indicating the start of the fertile period, ending at the 18th notch as shown by a circle in the lower right corner. A large circle in the upper corner with two smaller circles inside depicts the development of identical twins. This slab served as both a calendar and a teaching aid for understanding conception. A similar conception calendar is carved on the moon dolman's chamber's rear northeast wall, resembling a technical drawing. The vertical joints of chamber blocks serve as markers, with the first marker at the 5th hollow, indicating the end of menstruation. The second marker at the 10th, 11th hollows marks the end of the non-fertile period. The 11th to 19th days are fertile, with the third marker at the 14th hollow. Above this hollow are harmonic series, indicating the woman's ovulation energy spike. The conception calendar in the moon dolman is flanked by two other calendars on the northwest and southeast walls. The southeast wall calendar, a continuation of the conception calendar, has larger hollows and vertical broken lines over the last hollows, indicating life energy entering a newborn during birth. As an example and for comparison, here's a modern basal chart and conception calendar. What is surprising is that the harmonic surges coincide on the dolman builder's drawing and on the modern chart. This means that thousands of years ago, whoever built these structures had the same knowledge on these subjects as we do today. Currently, numerous dolmans are in significant disrepair and face the risk of being lost without protection from vandalism and neglect. So who knows what other secrets could be decoded on their design? Each dolman features a central portal, with some constructed from multiple stones and others carved from a single stone. While round portholes are the most prevalent, square ones also exist. Stone plugs, often found with these structures, were used to block the portholes and sometimes have a phallic shape. Notably, the entrance of a Caucasian dolman is always on the south side. The majority of these dolmens feature remarkable architectural characteristics, like this one, for example, which has perfectly flat surfaces. As you can see, the stone blocks are perfectly fitted together with minimal gaps. And here's an example of a dolman with a large stone plug found next to it, suggesting the dolman was once sealed. As you can see, there's an indentation around the perfectly circular hole of this dolman, which was probably made so that the stone plug creates a hermetic seal when plugged. It's interesting to note that there are some dolmens that imitate a stone plug, like this one, for example. This is a fake plug carved into the rock in a perfectly oval 3D manner. It's unknown how such perfection and smooth work can be made using primitive tools. If you look at this picture, you can see numerous dolmens from the Caucasus region, some featuring plugs, some missing their plugs and having just a hole, and some having a fake plug carved into the rock. The details and carvings on the stone blocks are remarkable. Take a closer look at the dolmens and see how fine and precise their carvings are. Interestingly, there's an old legend about the construction of the dolmens in the Caucasus region. According to the story, thousands of years ago, there were ancient giants tall as trees, hunting and fishing for sustenance. The giants, although fearsome, lacked intelligence and were tricked into serving a race of dwarfs. The dwarfs persuade the giants to build them numerous cozy and comfortable houses in the mountains. These houses had only one round hole, just large enough for the dwarfs to crawl through, ensuring that the giants could not enter. Many years have passed since then, and both the giants and dwarfs have vanished from the land. Yet, the stone houses, built by the giants under the direction of the dwarfs, still stand to this day, serving as a mysterious reminder of this ancient legend. This old tale about giants from the Caucasus is quite different from most ancient myths and legends about giants, as it also describes the giants as gentle and kind. Whether there's any truth to this legend, we cannot know. But interestingly, although science can't confirm the existence of prehistoric giants in these regions, it has confirmed the existence of a lost prehistoric civilization. There's something called the Black Sea deluge hypothesis, which posits that the Black Sea was once a smaller freshwater lake and home to numerous ancient cities, until thousands of years ago, a catastrophic flood event transformed the modest lake into the vast Black Sea we know today. The Black Sea is a large inland sea situated between southeastern Europe and western Asia. It is connected to the Mediterranean Sea via the Bosphorus Strait, the Sea of Marmara, and the Dardanelles. Geologists believe that during the last ice age, around 20,000 years ago, sea levels were much lower due to the vast amounts of water trapped in ice sheets. Consequently, the Black Sea was isolated from the world's oceans and existed as a smaller, freshwater lake. The Black Sea deluge hypothesis was prominently proposed by geologists William Ryan and Walter Pittman in the late 1990s. According to their theory, around 7,600 years ago, as the glaciers melted and sea levels rose, the Mediterranean Sea breached the Bosphorus Strait. This event led to an immense and rapid influx of salt water into the freshwater lake, raising its level by hundreds of feet and expanding its surface area dramatically. The hypothesis is supported by geological evidence, including ancient shorelines and sediments that suggest a significant and abrupt rise in water levels. Additionally, underwater exploration has uncovered submerged settlements and artifacts, indicating that the area was once inhabited by mysterious civilizations of which we know nothing about. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence supporting the existence of an early civilization is the submerged settlement found off the coast of Bulgaria. This site, which dates back to around 5000 BCE, includes remnants of houses, hearths, and pottery, indicating a well-developed community that was abruptly submerged. The discovery proved that ancient people lived here at least 1,000 years earlier than mainstream science believed, at a time when the water level was 16.5 feet or 5 meters lower than it is now. This catastrophic flooding event has also been linked to the myriad flood myths found in various cultures. For instance, the story of Noah's Ark in the Judeo-Christian tradition and the Epic of Gilgamesh in Mesopotamian mythology both describe a great flood that wiped out civilizations. Some scholars suggest that these myths could be cultural memories of the Black Sea flood, passed down through generations. If the Black Sea deluge hypothesis is correct, it will reshape our understanding of the prehistoric past of the region and the early human civilizations that inhabited it. It was this flood that displaced large populations, forcing migrations and possibly contributing to the spread of agricultural practices and technological innovations across Europe and Asia. Moreover, this hypothesis challenges the traditional view that significant human civilizations arose only in the Near East and Mesopotamia. In fact, it would mean that these civilizations were inheritors and descendants of this prehistoric lost ancient civilization that developed independently around the Black Sea, thriving in the fertile and resource-rich environment until their abrupt demise due to the flood. Could all of these sophisticated large dolmans all across the shores of the sea be remnants of this lost civilization? Whoever built these remarkable structures numbering in the thousands was most definitely much more sophisticated than the primitive hunter-gatherers described in our history books. These megalithic constructions indicate a society with advanced engineering skills, social organization, and knowledge of astrology, biology, mathematics, and geometry. This would imply the existence of a division of labor with specific roles for construction, planning, and resource allocation. Such societal complexity is a hallmark of advanced civilizations and challenges the notion that sophisticated social and technological development only emerged in the more traditionally recognized cradles of civilization. Continued exploration and research will undoubtedly reveal more about this fascinating and formative period, offering deeper insights into our collective past and the enduring legacy of those who came before us. Deep in the untamed wilderness of the southern Urals lies Archaim, a site enveloped in mystery. This enigmatic site stands as a guardian of a forgotten epic, offering a mesmerizing glimpse into an ancient world that once thrived in secrecy. Often referred to as Russia's Stonehenge, its discovery in the late 20th century sent shockwaves through the historical and archaeological communities. Its discovery was so groundbreaking for human history that even the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, visited the site. His visit not only underscored the site's importance to Russian heritage, but also elevated it to a symbol of national pride and a testament to the unforeseen depths of human civilization. Dating back to the 17th century BC, Archaim is not merely an archaeological treasure. It serves as a portal to a civilization that nearly slipped through the annals of time, echoing the brilliance of the minds that once roamed its lands. The discovery of Archaim, amidst the vast and largely uncharted expanse of Russia, prompts a stirring question. How did such a complex and advanced civilization flourish in this remote corner of the world? The immensity of Russia, with its varied landscapes and harsh climates, has long posed a formidable challenge to explorers. Yet, against these odds, Archaim stands as a beacon, indicating the presence of an advanced society in the Urals at a time when most human settlements were still emerging. This remarkable find challenges our understanding of ancient human societies and their geographical spread. Archaim's discovery proves that our planet harbors more secrets than we have uncovered. It leads us to ponder, could there be other hidden settlements like Archaim, silently waiting to unveil the lost chapters of human history? The sophisticated architecture and cosmic alignments of this site further accentuate its significance. Archaim's alignment with celestial bodies indicates an extraordinary comprehension of astronomy and cosmology. Delving further into the study of Archaim, we will unlock a gateway to a richer understanding of our common human legacy, as well as the enigmatic riddles that consistently mesmerize our understanding of early civilizations. At first glance, Archaim's structure presents a fortified settlement, encircled by two concentric circular walls. The outer wall, approximately 520 feet in diameter, and the inner wall create a defensive buffer, showcasing a strategic approach to urban design and security. Each of the walls speaks to the architectural skill and resourcefulness of the Archaim inhabitants. The utilization of materials that are challenging to manipulate or process, combined with advanced construction techniques, indicates a deep understanding of engineering and environmental adaptation. The layout and scale of Archaim also raise questions about the technology and tools available to its builders. The sheer size of the stone slabs, some weighing several tons, and the precision with which they were placed indicate a level of expertise that challenges conventional understanding of Neolithic societies. This has led to various theories, ranging from the use of primitive yet ingenious engineering techniques to more speculative ideas involving advanced lost technologies. Inside the walls, Archaim reveals its true architectural splendor. The city was meticulously planned, featuring about 60 dwellings radiating like spokes from the central square. Each house, rectangular in shape, was ingeniously built with its own furnace, a feature that highlights the advanced domestic architecture of the time. These furnaces, essential for the harsh winters of Russia, also suggest a society that had developed a sophisticated understanding of thermal engineering. The layout of the streets and the orientation of the houses in Archaim demonstrate a deliberate and well-thought-out urban plan. The radial design ensured that each house had access to the central square, which likely served as a communal area for gatherings and ceremonies. This centralization reflects a societal structure that valued community and collective interaction. The finding of a sophisticated water and sewage infrastructure, mines, metal artifacts, ceramics, ritualistic relics, household tools, and furnaces further underscores the intricate nature of Archaim. The drainage system of Archaim, often overlooked in the shadow of its astronomical and architectural wonders, is an integral part of its legacy. This system, intricately designed and meticulously implemented, highlights the practical and environmental acumen of the ancient inhabitants of Archaim. The settlement, with its complex network of drains, was well equipped to handle the challenges posed by its semi-arid climate and the seasonal fluctuations of the southern Ural steppes. Archaim's drainage system was not a rudimentary construction. It was a well-planned and executed network that catered to both domestic and communal needs. The system was designed to channel rainwater and waste away from the dwellings, ensuring a sanitary living environment. This level of urban sanitation is remarkable, considering the period and the place in which Archaim was built. The drainage network was comprised of grooves and channels, strategically placed within the settlement. These channels were often lined with stones, a method that not only facilitated the flow of water, but also prevented erosion and sediment buildup. This careful construction points to a comprehensive understanding of hydraulic principles, a knowledge that was essential for the survival and prosperity of the Archaim community. One of the most striking features of this drainage system is its integration with the overall urban layout. The radial design of Archaim meant that each house had direct access to the central square, and the drainage channels were seamlessly incorporated into this design. They ran along the streets, connecting each dwelling to a larger drainage network, which eventually led the water out of the settlement. This integration ensured that the system was both efficient and unobtrusive, a feat of engineering that balances functionality with aesthetic considerations. The effectiveness of Archaim's drainage system can also be seen in its impact on the settlement's longevity. The ability to manage water resources and maintain a hygienic living space would have been crucial for the health and well-being of its inhabitants. By effectively managing water, the ancient Archaim society could prevent the spread of waterborne diseases, a common issue in ancient settlements. The construction of such an advanced drainage system required not only technical knowledge but also a coordinated communal effort. This suggests that the society of Archaim was not only technically proficient but also socially organized, with a clear understanding of the importance of communal infrastructure. Suppose you've watched our video on the Harappan civilization, also known as the Indus Valley civilization. In that case, you may find Archaim's sophisticated drainage system quite similar to the one in Mohenjo-Daro. The Harappan civilization flourished around 2600 to 1900 BCE in the northwestern regions of the Indian subcontinent. It is renowned for its advanced urban planning, architecture, and social organization. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro are exemplary, with their well-laid streets, sophisticated drainage systems, and impressive public and residential structures. Just like the cities of the Indus Valley, Archaeum exhibits a well-planned street grid. The roads are laid out in a systematic pattern, suggesting a high level of planning and foresight, similar to the rectilinear street layouts seen in Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. A hallmark of the Harappan civilization was its advanced drainage system, and this feature is also evident in Archaeum. The presence of drainage facilities indicates an understanding of sanitation and public health that is remarkably advanced for its time. The Harappan civilization was known for its use of baked bricks in construction, a feature that is also observed in Archaeum. The standardization in the size of bricks and construction techniques across both civilizations points to advanced engineering skills and knowledge that seems to be almost identical in nature. The similarities between the people of Archaeum and the ancient Indian civilizations don't end there. The Ganges River, reverently known as the Holy Ganga in India, is not just a river but a symbol of faith, purity, and life. It's a river that has held a profound place in Indian culture, history, and spirituality for millennia. In Hinduism, the Ganges is considered sacred, believed to be the physical manifestation of the goddess Ganga. According to Hindu mythology, Ganga descended from heaven to earth to cleanse the sins of humanity. The belief in the healing powers of the Ganges is deeply rooted in Hindu tradition. Millions of people bathe in the river every year, especially during auspicious occasions, in the hope of physical and spiritual healing. This belief is not just spiritual, but also has historical roots, as ancient texts and practices have long attributed medicinal properties to the waters of the Ganges. Curiously, the rivers near Archaeum, called Bolshaya Karaganka and Utyaganka rivers, are, just like the Ganges, named after the Holy Ganga. In fact, according to legend and local belief, these rivers also possess healing powers that resonate with the healing powers of the Ganges. How did this reverence for the Ganges reach so far? Was there some long-lost historical connection between these ancient civilizations? As more discoveries were made, the similarities between the ancient Indian civilizations and the lost civilization of Archaeum continued to expand. For example, Archaeum's city layout is strikingly similar to a mandala. Mandalas are geometric configurations of symbols that are used in spiritual and ritual contexts in Hinduism and Buddhism, representing the cosmos metaphysically and symbolically. Archaeum's circular design, with concentric rings and radial divisions, echoes this cosmic symbolism. This layout suggests a sophisticated understanding of not only urban planning, but also of cosmic principles, spirituality, and symbolism. In Indian culture, the mandala is more than just a symbol. It is a tool for spiritual guidance, a map for the spiritual journey, and a method to connect with the divine. Mandalas are used in meditation and rituals, believed to help in focusing, attention, and establishing a sacred space. The resemblance of Archaeum's layout to a mandala might imply that the city was more than a habitation. It was a place of spiritual significance. The center of the mandala is often considered the starting point of contemplation, a guide to spiritual enlightenment. Archaeum's design, with its central square and surrounding concentric circles, might have served a similar purpose, possibly reflecting the city's role as a spiritual or astronomical center. The resemblance of Archaeum's city plan to the mandala-type architecture found in India is uncanny. Indian temples, especially those built in the medieval period, often exhibit similar circular or square layouts with concentric structures, symbolizing a gradual ascent from the material world to the spiritual realm. The most famous example is the Borobudur Temple, which, though Buddhist, reflects similar Hindu architectural principles. Such uncanny similarity between Archaeum and such structures raises more questions about the transmission of architectural knowledge and spiritual concepts between these regions. Another connection with the Hindu civilizations was the discovery of the swastika symbol in various places in Archaeum, which added even more layers of intrigue to this ancient site. These ancient symbols, which resemble a cross with arms bent at right angles, have been found engraved on various artifacts and architectural elements within the archaeological site. Their presence raises questions about the origins, meanings, and cultural significance of the swastika in this ancient civilization. In the context of Archaeum, the swastika symbols appear on pottery, clay tablets, and even etched into the architecture of the settlement. This suggests that they held significant cultural and possibly religious importance to the people who lived there. Some researchers speculate that the swastika may have symbolized the sun, as its rotational pattern mirrors the sun's movement across the sky. In ancient cultures, the sun often had strong religious and symbolic associations. Like the mandala, the swastika is also an ancient symbol that predates many modern religions and is also most commonly associated with Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, where it holds profound spiritual significance. Its presence in Archaeum, a site thousands of miles away from the Indian subcontinent, enhanced the theories of a connection between the two civilizations. In Hinduism, the swastika symbolizes good luck, well-being, prosperity, and the eternal nature of the Brahman or universe. In Buddhism, it represents the auspicious footprints of the Buddha. How did a symbol so deeply rooted in the Indian spiritual context find its way to this remote part of Russia? All of these strange discoveries have also reignited debates about the original homeland of the Indo-Europeans. Some scholars suggest that the site, along with the broader land of Towns region, supports the theory that the Indo-Europeans originated in Siberia. This theory challenges traditional views on the spread of Indo-European languages and cultures, leading to the question, could Archaeum indeed be the cradle of Indo-European civilization? Perhaps the most fascinating feature of Archaeum was its incredibly sophisticated cosmic alignment and astronomical significance, which suggests that the ancient inhabitants had an advanced understanding of celestial movements and their impact on terrestrial life. Archaeum's design and structure have led many experts to believe that it was used as an astronomical observatory and a sophisticated ancient calendar. This hypothesis is supported by the alignment of the site's doors and buildings, which facilitated the observation of at least 18 astronomical events. Researchers have noted that certain observational points within Archaeum align with the sunrise and sunset during solstices and equinoxes. This alignment indicates a deep understanding of the solar cycle and its importance in ancient times. Throughout history, various ancient civilizations have constructed sites that carefully track the summer solstices. Sites like Stonehenge, Chichen Itza, Machu Picchu, Abu Simbel, and more showcase the remarkable engineering skills of their respective cultures, but also emphasize the significance of celestial events in their cultural practices. The precise alignment of structures with the summer solstice speaks to the enduring fascination of ancient civilizations with the cosmos and their ability to harness the movements of celestial bodies in great precision. Ancient civilizations often based their calendars on the solar and lunar cycles, and Archaeum's design might have facilitated the observation of these cycles, aiding in the prediction of seasonal changes and major celestial events. In many ancient cultures, the heavenly bodies also held significant spiritual and symbolic meanings. The alignment of Archaeum with such celestial phenomena could reflect the site's role as a sacred space where the heavens and earth were believed to connect. This cosmic connection is evident in many ancient civilizations, where astronomical knowledge was often intertwined with mythology, religion, and the cosmos's understanding. The ability to construct a settlement with precise astronomical alignments showcases the technological prowess and advanced engineering skills of the people who built Archaeim. It reflects a sophisticated knowledge of geometry, astronomy, and construction techniques that were remarkable for a civilization of that era, especially if you consider the remote place they developed. How were these societies able to achieve such perfect alignments without modern technology? Another interesting fact about the site that raises more questions is its sudden abandonment. Like many other megalithic sites worldwide, its builders appear to have suddenly vanished without a trace. Regardless of the reason for their vanishment, what they left behind gave rise to various ideologies and spiritual beliefs. Different groups, ranging from Russian Rodnovers to Zoroastrians and Hindus, view Archaeim as a sacred site. For some, it represents the second homeland of the Indo-Europeans, who initially inhabited Arctic regions. Others identify Archaeim with mythical places like Asgard of Odin, or consider it the birthplace of Zoroaster. This diverse range of interpretations showcases the importance this site has on human history. Adding to Archaeim's mystery are the strange reports of magnetic anomalies, strange lights, and curious fog formations in the region, which fueled speculations about Archaeim being an energy node or some sort of vortex generator. While these theories are largely speculative, they do spark the imagination. In conclusion, we can agree that in the vast and enigmatic tapestry of human history, few sites capture the imagination as powerfully as Archaeim. The discovery of this remarkable site opened a window to a past both profound and enigmatic, hinting at the existence of a lost civilization whose sophistication and understanding of the world challenge our modern perceptions of ancient societies. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the most remarkable prehistoric megalithic structures of Russia. If you want to continue your research, you can watch our documentary on the prehistoric megastructures of Japan, including the large Kofun tombs which are still not excavated. The link is in the top pinned comment.